right, good morning, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. So, we're late today because I in particular was very chit-chatty walking in here, and I just can't help myself. It's nice to be out on a nice day with friends that you haven't seen since like March of 2020. So this is a little bit of a reunion of sorts, and so it's great to see everyone today. And it's also great to see the progress that this project has made. It hasn't stopped. Even though the world has been held up as a result of the pandemic over the last 13 or so months, we in New Bedford figured out how to walk and chew gum at the same time.
That's right.
We're moving forward on every front, and this is a great example. Abolition Row Park was something that had been conceived a number of years ago by Lee Blake and the Bedford Historical Society, and it was an idea that everybody rallied around, and then eventually we're able to, as all good projects to do, you need money, and eventually money came from a number of sources, and we'll talk about that in a second. But we're thrilled to see it get to this point, and it may not look like much now. It may look like a hole in the ground, but the fact that construction has started, there is a design in place, construction has started, is great, because as parks go, parks aren't like buildings, right? You can build them once it's designed, and once you've broken ground, you can build it fairly expeditiously, and that's what's going to happen. So we're going to see over the next several months tremendous progress here, and then with the hope that, and I'm not going to steal Lee's thunder, I don't know the exact opening date, but we'll be back for that whenever it is, but it's moving forward. And this is an important place. We're standing right behind me. I think everybody here certainly knows, but for the benefit of those who are watching this program, this was Abolition Row, 7th Street in New Bedford. Was a place where, right behind me in the Nathan and Polly Johnson house, where Frederick Douglass first made his home in the North, having escaped from slavery in Maryland. And if you haven't read the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, I commend it to everybody, certainly school children, but for lots of reasons. Just first of all, the power of its prose, the brilliance of its author. And for those of us who live in New Bedford, who hail from here, just how descriptive he was of New Bedford, and just frankly what a favorable portrayal of this place that he included. He was just so shocked to see people of every race working harmoniously, and really perhaps in the only place in America where that actually happened in the 1830s and 40s. And so, and the story unfolds right in this spot. And so it's a big part of who we are in New Bedford, and a big part of the story of America, and a story that unfolds today still. And so, we want we want future generations to know the importance of that narrative, the importance of the Johnsons and Frederick Douglass's example, and everyone else who made New Bedford the way it is, the progenitors of New Bedford today, and so that we can continue to be the city we are, one that does lead the way in so many respects, especially when it comes to inclusiveness and fairness to all. And so that's what I think this park is about. And there are a number of folks. I want to introduce Lee to continue on with the program in a second, but I did want to thank a number of folks, starting with Lee Blake and her leadership over the many years, and her committee who's here today, and she'll introduce everyone. But I just wanted to say, Lee, thanks for just sticking with it. I mean, great things don't happen automatically. They happen because you've got a great idea, and then you push and you push, you push, you push. You don't relent. That's how it happens, and it's a great example to everybody of how you can build something great, and what it takes to do that. And so this is when turns out the way we know it will. It'll be because of the leadership that you've provided and the support that been able to rally around. I want to thank everyone responsible for the public funding of this place. Our state legislative delegation, represented by Tony Cabral today, along with Senator Montigny and others, who were instrumental in helping finance the construction here, the city itself, both through the Community Preservation Act Committee, and Jessica Bailey, who heads that up for the city, and Jan Baptist, who's here, who's the chairperson. We knew that this was a project important to the city in so many respects, that it had to get funded, and so we appreciate the work that you guys have done on it. Where's Jan's in uniform today? We're right back there. The city, direct city funding, in many respects, has also played a part in it in a number of ways, both indirectly and directly. The city council, represented today by Ward 5 Councilor Scott Lima, has always backed this project firmly. So we thank them and him in particular for that support. In addition, DPI has done a fair amount of the work here and will continue to do some of the work as well in coordination with the private sector. Great job on their part. We're represented here today by Justin Olson from DPI, who knows a fair amount about trees and about planting and about making things just so. So we really appreciate his professionalism as well. So I think I've covered everybody. I just I know Lee's got a few other people to thank along the way, but I think I've of course, yeah, and everybody else in city. Jamie Pond, Justin's boss, as well as Ann Laurel, the city's historic planner, and our director of Parks, Recreation, and Beaches, Mary Raposa, who's behind me. I got to turn around and make sure I'm hitting everybody. There's Mary. This is another part of her portfolio in the park system, and she's supported ably by the city's park board. Diane Barabee and Elaine Safiolis are here in support from the park board as well. And I think I'm going to leave you, Lee, to make sure that you hit everybody that I have not hit, because there are many people who are responsible for the progress we've seen here. But I just want to emphasize more than anything, great job, everybody. Let's keep it going. Let's build something great here. And so when people look back in 50 years, they'll say, you know, folks in New Bedford not only had their priorities straight, but also have given us something, you know, worthy of our children as well. Thanks, everyone. And without any further ado, Lee Blake.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. This is a wonderful day for the Historical Society. I have been honored to push this project forward because I have great writing skills, as all of you know, and I'll write a grant for anything. And when people see the history that our city has and the history that the Historical Society is saving, they want to fund us. So we've been so lucky working with our elected officials, with Representative Cabral, Senator Montigny, with our local city council members, and the wonderful CPA and Jessica. We've been able to pull together money from the federal government, the state government, the city government, and of course private individuals, and we will keep doing that. We're in phase 1 now of the development of this. When you say, when are we going to come back? Might be October that you'll be coming back and this project will be complete. So we'll make sure we have a big crowd then. Of course, then we won't have to wear our masks. The other thing is that we also have representatives from the Carpenters Union who are working to build a gazebo. So there are ways that people are donating their time, their energy, their effort. We've been so lucky to work with COG Design, and Barbara Connolly here is from Connolly Gardens. She is our flower expert and our landscape design expert, along with Heather Hemlick. We not only designed this area, we did group workshops with the community to let them know what we were doing and to ask them how they wanted to be involved. So since 2017, we've had workshops and discussions, many of which Barbara and Heather led, so that the design would reflect what the neighborhood wanted. So we've been very collaborative and inclusive. And so many of the Historical Society members participated. They have been doing outreach, working with different organizations so that we're a collaborative organization of many of the arts and culture organizations in the city. So we are here, and we have always worked to save the history of some of New Bedford's hidden spaces, and those tend to be the spaces, African American spaces, Cape Verdean spaces, and we collaborate with a lot of the arts and culture organizations to make sure that's happened. And it's so important, Mayor, for you to say 50 years from now, people in New Bedford made sure that our history was saved. All aspects of our history was saved. And that's what the members of the Historical Society have done. And I've always been proud of our work, and I know you all are proud of your work. And now the Johnson House will have a garden in front, classroom space, walking tour space, and it won't be just a little house in the corner. It'll be almost an African American historic campus in many ways. We are bounded by the Friends Meeting House. All of these properties have actually benefited from this work. So we will be excited in September, October. We'll come back, but we know the Friends Meeting House is also working on opening up more, maybe some art space, maybe art exhibits. But this will be a campus for all of us. And I want to thank you all for your willingness to work with me as we had to butt heads and go to funders and beg for money, but we had and still have a really good project. And I thank you all. And now I'd like to introduce Representative Cabral.
Well, thank you, Lee, and thank you, Mayor. This is a wonderful day for us here in New Bedford. The tenacity of Lee Blake and the tenacity of the New Bedford Historical Society and its board is here in display. I mean, without them, without their efforts throughout the years, we would not be here today. But it's an important day because it's really the groundbreaking of an amazing space, not only as a space that we all can sort of come around, sit and reflect, but it will be an educational space. As soon as you go through here, or any kids in this community go through here, they will learn how important New Bedford, the role of New Bedford on the Underground Railroad, abolition movement was, and the role of Frederick Douglass was in New Bedford and throughout the country. I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to watch a TV series called Amend. Well, you have to watch it. The first few episodes is really all about Frederick Douglass, and it's about the 14th Amendment. If you don't know, I'm sure everybody knows what the 14th Amendment to the Constitution is, right? It's citizenship. Be born or naturalized. From that day on, everybody in this land, it was considered an American citizen. Up until then, many states in the Union didn't consider African Americans citizens of the United States. You believe that? And even since the 14th Amendment, many states, particularly in the South, tried to circumvent the 14th Amendment. In many ways, that's how we end up with the Jim Crow laws in the various states throughout the South. So here in New Bedford, we're going to tell the story. And we're going to continue to tell the story about not only Frederick Douglass, but the abolition movement and the role that this community played. Imagine, in the 1800s, walking down Union Street, along with Frederick Douglass and all the other communities that lived here at the time, be Cape Verdean Americans, be Portuguese, Irish, you name it, all those immigrant communities working together in harmony. Imagine walking down Union Street and see all that interaction going on that was not happening in other parts of the country. And that's the story we got to tell. That's the story we have to pass on to our kids and to our grandkids. And let's have the New Bedford Public Schools incorporate into their curriculum the role of Frederick Douglass. You know, Frederick Douglass in his powerful speeches throughout the country really helped the Congress and the states, the 38 states, adopt the 14th Amendment. His role just on that alone is amazing, not to mention other roles that he has played in this country in the 1800s. So, and for us to say he was one of our own as well. Lived in New Bedford. First voted as a free man in New Bedford. Some of his kids were born in New Bedford. Imagine that. Just imagine that. That has to be told. That story has to be told throughout this community and throughout this state and throughout this country. So can't wait to come back, Lee. Be September or October. We won't probably have to use all these masks, but that's okay if we have to, because it's about protecting all of us in this community as well. To really get this park to represent all those historical messages and being a living space at the same time for all of us to participate and enjoy. And so it will be really a place of remembrance too, and the memorial as well, but not something to be a museum. It's something that will be interactive, that all of us can get and learn and participate, and all our children can really participate. Lee, I just want to tell you, as late as Wednesday night of this week, I was able to secure some more funding. We secured another $25,000 for the Frederick Douglass House. Even under these conditions, these tough fiscal conditions because of the pandemic, we keep fighting. It's that tenacity that drives me, Lee, that drives me, and how important these kinds of projects and these kinds of messages are to all of us who call this place our home, and we all love this place. We know that. All of us do that, the mayor, myself, and all of you here, and all the citizens throughout and residents of this great city. So thank you again for your tenacity, for your role, your leadership, and we will be richer for it. Thank you.
So there are a number of people to thank, and the mayor did a really wonderful job. But I just want to say this was such an example of a private-public partnership between the city of New Bedford, the wonderful work of Mary Raposa, who's in the back, who should be up here. Come on, Mary. And her team. They are such a pleasure to work with. And I would send Mary information on a grant, and she would say, we're on it. And we would apply, and we would get the money. So we were lucky to be able to have this team of Volovia Costa, Sean Side, Heather, Barbara, Mary, all working together to make sure that this project happened. So I just wanted to thank Mary officially from us.
My pleasure.
And I think that's it.
Yes.
What? Oh, you want?
Oh, Scott.
No, I'll just say.
Oh yeah.
All right, just two
Scott Lima, everybody.
Just 2 seconds. So I just want to bring greetings from the City Council and congratulate the Historical Society under Lee Blake's leadership, all of the board members of the Historical Society, past board members, all of their volunteers and funders that they've had over the years. So again, I bring greetings from the City Council on behalf of City Council President Joseph Lopes, the entire City Council, and again, congratulations. Thank you.
All right.
Could I just say something quick?
Carla wouldn't be a press conference.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make sure that the public realize that this came out of the ashes of a fire. There was a house here, a beautiful home, an abolitionist, one of our white allies lived on this property who befriended many African Americans, and it was a house that Nathan and Polly Johnson and Douglas saw every day. So this is an honor to them as well. So while it becomes a park, it's out of those ashes. We would still have loved to have that house here.
That's right.
But we've now tried to turn it into something that represents all those people that lived in this community. And I didn't want today to go by without saying that, because that's important. This was not in our original plan. We had two houses here. We were going to have a house across the street, which was going to that was going to be our administrative office. We were going to have the Nathan Polly Johnson house in its historical form from all levels, and then the fire came that took two wonderful, important homes. So we're happy that this park will stand as a monument to those families and those people that lived in this neighborhood.
Well done. Well done. Well done. All right. Great note to end on. Thank you, Carl, for stepping up. So we've got to get back to work,
That's right.
but we look forward to the results. back in September or October.
You're gonna make it.
Oh yeah, we gotta do that.
Get 'em up all together. All